Los Angeles Times, August 8, 1945, 2 days after the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. Atomic bomb literally seared city to death. Scenes of horror told. San Francisco, August 8. AP. The atomic bomb that hit Hiroshima literally seared to death all living things, human and animal. Radio Tokyo Today admitted in a broadcast monitored by the American Broadcasting Company. It said that dead and injured were burned beyond recognition, and authorities were unable to get any definite check on civilian casualties. The city was said to be in disastrous ruin. The effect was widespread. Those outdoors were burned to death, and those indoors were killed by the indescribable pressure and heat, Radio Tokyo said. The broadcast reported that, with houses and buildings crushed, including the emergency medical facilities, medical authorities are having their hands full, giving every relief possible. Dead and injured could not be identified, the broadcast disclosed. Map shows 60% of city wiped out. 4 1/10 square miles, or 60% of Hiroshima, was wiped out by the devastating atomic bomb dropped Monday by a B-29. The U.S. Army Strategic Air Force Headquarters reported today. 5 major industrial targets were wiped out in the city, which has an area of 6 9/10 square miles. Additional damage was shown outside the completely destroyed area, said a communiqué. Based on reconnaissance photographs made over the city of 343,000 on the morning of the day, the bomb was dropped by a superfort, which felt the concussion while 10 miles away. The photographs showed clearly that the heart of Hiroshima was wiped out with awful thoroughness, as if some giant bulldozer had swept across the buildings and houses. In the heart of the city, only a few concrete structures remain standing. They are believed to be air raid shelters. New kind of fire. A U.S. Army Strategic Air Forces expert said there was no comparison between the fire caused by an atomic bomb and that of a normal conflagration. When Yokohama was burned by a normal fire, the expert said it looked as if smoke pots were burning throughout the city. In the case of Hiroshima, a white plume rose thousands of feet in the air. At the base of this high-necked mushroom was a cloud, believed to be dust blown into the air by the tremendous concussion. Although additional damage was revealed by the camera outside the completely destroyed section, the lower part of Hiroshima with its harbor and dock facilities appeared to be barely touched. The men who participated could give no estimate of the damage other than it must have been extensive. Equals 2,000 B-29s. Photographs taken a few minutes after the atomic bomb blasted Hiroshima showed a spectacular formation of white smoke rising like a long-necked mushroom over the city. Only several dots were perceivable in the target city. The remainder was obscured by clouds of smoke. So, with a single bomb, a single superfort accomplished as great damage as normally is inflicted by a large force of B-29s. Actually, the force of the atomic bomb is reported equivalent to the bomb loads of 2,000 B-29s, which average 6 tons of bombs each. U.S. Army Strategic Air Force Headquarters maintained its secrecy regarding operation of the revolutionary weapon, and there was no indication when the next atomic bomb will be delivered to shake Japan. Strikes city center. The 5 major industrial targets reported destroyed at Hiroshima were not listed by Spats. Crewmen related that the lone bomb struck squarely in the center of the industrial military city of 343,000 on southern Honshu in the Japanese mainland, with a flash and concussion that brought an exclamation of "My God" from a battle-hardened super fortress crew 10 miles away. For following up on other enemy targets, There are more B-29s ready to carry more of the same awesome bombs. This was announced here by General Carl A. Spaatz, commander of the U.S. Army Strategic Air Force. Crewmen who carried the awful new bomb were far away when it exploded, but they felt the concussion as if it were a close explosion of anti-aircraft fire. Turned broadside, Colonel Paul W. Tibbets, Jr. of Miami, Florida, who piloted the Superfortress, and Navy Captain William S. Parsons of Santa Fe, New Mexico, Navy ordnance expert, described the explosions as tremendous and awe-inspiring. It was 09:15, 9:15 a.m., when we dropped our bomb and we turned the plane broadside to get the best view, said Captain Parsons. Then we made as much distance from the ball of fire as we could. We were at least 10 miles away, and there was a visual impact, even though every man wore colored glasses for protection. We had braced ourselves when the bomb was gone for the shock, and Tibbets said, "Close flak," and it was just like that, a close burst of anti-aircraft fire. The crew said, "My God," and couldn't believe what had happened. Mountain of smoke. A mountain of smoke was going up in a mushroom with the stem coming down. At the top was white smoke, but up to 1,000 feet from the ground, there was swirling, boiling dust. Soon afterward, small fires sprang up on the edge of town, but the town was entirely obscured. We stayed around 2 or 3 minutes, and by that time, the smoke had risen to 40,000 feet. As we watched the top of the white cloud, it broke off, and another soon formed. Details of the bombing were disclosed at a press conference attended by General Carl Spaatz, who termed the new bomb the most revolutionary development in the history of the world. Spaatz was obviously highly elated at the new bombing weapon. He said if he had had it in Europe, it would have shortened the war 6 to 8 months. Major General Curtis LeMay said that if this bomb had been available, there would have been no need to have had D-Day in Europe. LeMay, former commanding general of the 20th Air Force, is chief of staff under Spaatz now. Photographs taken at Hiroshima at the time of bombing showed only smoke. Photographs taken 4 hours later showed smoke still obscuring the city and rising to 40,000 feet. The Superfortress, which carried the bomb, took off from a Marianas base, and only 3 men knew what they carried: Colonel Tibbets, Captain Parsons, and the bombardier, Major Thomas W. Farabee of Mocksville, North Carolina. Trained for mission. Tibbets had been trained specifically for this mission, which General Spaatz considered so vital, he awarded Tibbets the Distinguished Service Cross as he stepped from his plane after the flight. The plane was named Enola Gay, after Tibbets's mother in Miami. There were many secrets about the flight and the bombing which followed. One secret was the selection of Hiroshima as the target. It was believed probable, however, that it was selected not because of its great importance, but partly because the weather was clear there, and visibility was such as to permit a close watch of the bomb explosion. No difficulty was encountered in reaching the target. Special unit organized. Many months ago, a special unit was organized to do this special work. When we went out, we had the best of facilities made available to us, Tibbets said. Speaking matter-of-factly, he said, the bomb run up to the target was uneventful, and there were no disturbing elements in the bomb run when the release was made. We saw a flash, felt the concussions, and it reminded me of a close burst of flak. We stayed in the target area, looking at the scene below and the towering column of smoke. I have never seen anything like it. Terrific heat emitted. Discussion of the size or other features of the atomic bomb wasn't permitted. Spaatz, LeMay, and other general officers discussed guardedly the possible effectiveness of the new bomb, which was described as giving off intense heat for some distance around it. In experiments in New Mexico, The heat was said to have been felt 20 miles away. Another officer said that its effect probably would be disappointingly slight on shipping.